scene from a horror movie. I arrived from the bathroom to find that nobody is around. Oh, there's the dog. Hi, buddy. I was starting to film a very realistic horror movie plot, but then you showed up.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Well guys, Max and I are back on the boat for the first time in like almost a month. We're actually back on the boat! I'm so excited. Max ended up getting injured about like 3.5 weeks ago now, and so as you can see, he's got a t-shirt on, and he also had a cone on for the last like 3.5 weeks. And the boat just like isn't big enough for a dog with a cone. We slept on here one night and he was super uncomfortable. He had to have surgery, and he was not having a good time. Were you? No, you did not like it. You did not want to be on the boat. So luckily for us, Logan's parents were really generous and let us just kind of crash at their place while Max is healing up. And now he's feeling better. So we're back on the boat, aren't we? Are you excited? Not really. You're kind of excited? Kind of? Yes. So one of the things about living on a boat is that we, anyway, don't really have like a proper pump out for our holding tank, which means that every single morning when we're in a marina, we're getting up and we're walking to the bathroom, to go to the bathroom. And here, it's a bit of a stroll. So the boat, it's over here, the washroom is over here. And Max just absolutely loves the grate, obviously. So it's not the end of the world, but it's just kind of like something to get used to when you're used to having your own bathroom readily available. So obviously we have a head on the boat, but our holding tank, you have to actually go into our berth, the V berth, to pump it out, which is kind of gnarly, you know, and that's where you sleep. So we haven't used it. It's completely clean. We haven't opened it up and nobody's used it, so I kind of want to keep it that way. Which means that we spend a lot of time in public washrooms. One of my favorite things about living on a boat is that you never get to escape the elements. Like this morning, it's kind of a chilly wind and it's pretty strong. But this guy needs to go for a walk, and I don't have a yard to just kick him out into, so I am currently out going for a walk as well, heading to the beach.
There's no surprise. You look beyond comparing every time that I came close to making a move. I froze. I always do that, and I know it.
One of the biggest differences for us living on the boat has been that we don't have any hot water. You don't realize how many things you like comfortably want hot water for until you don't have them, like showering, washing your face, doing dishes. So every time we need to do dishes, we have to boil water, which means that I get to drink a lot more tea, but also you don't get to just turn on a tap and have your hot water. You actually have to like plan ahead a bit.
And the next time you walk through that door, I really need to try to talk to you, but every time I do, I end up like a fool.
As you guys also know, we are living in Canada, and Canada gets cold. So we have 2 heaters in the boat to keep us warm. We have this one diesel heater. It's a Chesapeake by Dickinson, and we need to rebuild it because it is really hard to get started. So I, on my own on the boat, will not be using this, at least until it's rebuilt. But we also have this little guy. which is a marine certified space heater. So obviously it's electric, which is kind of an issue for us when we are on anchor or anywhere other than the marina because we don't have an inverter, which is also part of the reason that we're in a marina so much. But it's awesome, like in the marina, it keeps us really warm. The other big thing is that we don't have Wi-Fi on the boat, which means that we end up doing a lot more reading. I didn't even know that I still liked reading until like a month ago, when I was like, what am I going to do with my time? And I was like, books. When you don't have your own Wi-Fi, sometimes you end up sitting across from the library in town trying to steal theirs. So we have a plan to make a dinghy holding machiney thing over there. Until then, every time it rains, we have to bail out the dinghy. So that's what I'm going to do now. The last complaint is that our galley is really freaking small. So you see this sink? Barely has enough room in it for like one plate. It's like the only spots we have to dry dishes are here. You can fold this table up or over here. But if I put them over here, then I can't get into our ice box. If I put them over here, they're hitting max lots of the time. Or if we're under passage, they're sliding off. And there is more food storage under there. So there's just like there's not enough counter space. There's just not enough space for doing cooking stuff. Also, our stove is really small, which means that like big pots don't fit on there very well, and you can only really cook with like one pot at a time, unless your pots are tiny. Also, this fart has decided that my bed is his bed. I let him sleep with me the last 2 nights because he was all hurt, and I didn't get to snuggle with him for like 3 weeks, and now he's like, well, this is my spot. This is my bed. But it's not really your bed, is it, bud? Is it? So we're hoping that we can find a bigger boat that has 2 sinks and a bit more counter space. We're looking for a boat that's about 38 to 42 feet, center cockpit, so that we can have an aft cabin to sleep in and we can convert our V-berth into storage, because we are in the process of outfitting both of ourselves with dive gear so that we can do some cold water diving this winter, which means dry suits, which are like pretty big and need to be hung up to stay safe, and they're a big investment, so we want to be able to do that. It'd be nice if we could put our mountain bikes on the boat so that when we go traveling we can actually mountain bike, because you haven't seen it in the videos so much, but we do a lot of mountain biking. And then obviously more space for Max, because here, as you can see, there's not very much space. And then we got a big doggo who's about the size of a human, so it's kind of like we have 3 people walking through here. It's really tight. And it's like, when Max and I are the only ones on the boat, it's fine. We can manage it, but when there's 3 of us, it's just like, you're in each other's space and you start driving each other a little bit crazy. So we're hoping that if we get a bigger boat, that won't be as big of an issue, and we'll have the room for the storage like I was talking about, so we can actually properly take care of our gear. So those are the big things that we're looking for inside, and then obviously we want it to be able to sail nicely, which I didn't realize obviously because we were kind of new sailors, but there's a lot of boats that sail really crappy downwind, and we don't want that, so we're also looking for something that sails nicely downwind. And a bunch of other things that you can ask Logan about.